Hi guys, welcome to this week's sales training. I've actually got two little short ones I'm going to throw in. I hope they do you some good. The first one is based on an experience I had and my father. Not directly related, but it's kind of a customer service issue as relates to sales. There is an old truth. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. Old truth. Squeaky wheel gets the grease. Makes sense. Got a good old-fashioned little cart, and man, I am an artist today, you lucky devils. And we got our little axle and our wheel, and we got our little axle and our wheel, and one on the other side and one on the other, and this one's squeaking. You know what that means? It means the bearings are out. And you go and you put some grease on it and you fix it. From that standpoint and that logic, I love this statement. Keep your eyes open, judge yourself, measure yourself, always be watching. Don't be rolling down the prairie and not have your ears open for a wheel that's starting to squeak. If it starts to grind where you can hear it a mile away, it's past squeaky stage. Listen, measure. This saying is brilliant. I know I misspelled squeaky. This saying is brilliant. And basically what it's really truly saying is constantly measure, constantly self-evaluate, constantly judge. Listen for a problem. It's there for a reason. Where there is smoke, there is fire. Give it grease. Pay it attention. Maintenance it. Serve it. Here's what this saying has come to mean. The jerk gets the payoff. This is where I'm going to talk about my father for a minute. We're jumping out for a sec. My dad was that guy that he'd go in with the problem. He bought a car, had an issue. He bought a tool and it wasn't working out. Whatever it was. He'd go back very polite, very professional, very sweetly, and say his problem. And he never fought. And he never argued. If they took care of him, that man was loyal to that place till something dramatic changed. And by that I mean, you want to be loyal to your car dealer? Well, guess what? They usually aren't. They sell so dang fast, you can't. But until that guy sold or the people that worked there that took care of him were gone, my dad was loyal to that guy. To this day, he'll only buy his tires at Hibnan's Tires for that exact reason. Service exceptional. But if they didn't serve, and if he knew he was getting screwed, he might politely ask a second time, and he'd smile and say thank you, and walk away. And he'd get in the car, and he'd look at me and go, we'll never do anything with them again. Period. And that was it. And let me tell you something, as a business owner, that's the guy that scares the hell out of me. That's the client I can't afford to lose. Conversely, and I know I'm leaving this alone for a minute. I hope I'm doing it intentionally. I'm sitting in Vegas as we went over last week, and my thing is I love to go to the spa. I just do. Some of the greatest spas in the world are in that daggum town. And I love a good sauna. There's a little bit Icelandic in me. But you know, for my Jewish heritage, it fits, and maybe that's it. But I love a sauna. Going and sitting in the hot tub, everything, fantastic. Get a massage, it's great, fabulous. Very first one I was ever in was at the Luxor, and that's where I was this time, and I loved that place from day one. I still have a certain loyalty. It is the closest to a true Russian bathhouse that exists. And if you want to go to the perfect spa in the world, period, it has been and always will be a classic Russian bathhouse. Now here's the truth of that. And this goes to the Norwegian heritage as well. I'm not disrespecting my Scandinavian friends. After a hot, you do a cold. A truly good spa always has a cold pool so that it turns you to ice. It's the classic, you get in the old Icelandic steam room, you get a good sweat going, you jump out in the friggin' frozen cold river. It actually is good for your body, and it's a shock. I've always enjoyed it, always liked it. So I'm in there and I do that. And the second time I do it, the little feller that was the servant waiter, and they're supposed to kind of treat you like a butler, which is what you want to go for, comes and informs me that he'd appreciate if I wouldn't do that anymore because I'm splashing water out of the pool and he doesn't like to have to mop it up. I, the client, paying a lot of money to be there, a freakishly loyal client for 14 years, went and got towels and helped. He's, oh no, I'll get it. I need you not to splash anymore. And I apologized profusely. I seem like the nicest client in the world. I seem like the friendliest client in the world. I seem like the best client in the world. I will never go back to Luxor again. I have been in that spa probably 18 times. I can't tell you how many people that have gone with me that I've paid to go and enjoy it as well. I will never go again. My point being, beware your happiest customer. If you're not paying attention to the squeaky wheel. It wasn't hard. It wasn't hard. It wouldn't have been hard for him to come back and cover that up and been okay with me. A simple, sir, I'm so sorry, and if this isn't anything we can do, I want you to be happy. Let me get you a drink. Can I get you a coffee? Would you like an alcoholic beverage? Would you like some fruit juice? Whatever you want. Anything to make up. But you don't insult and step down the client that's paying a couple $100 and just paid you a $20 tip walking in the door. And that's just you, not the other people you tip. Insane. Very easy to fix. But you have to notice. Body language will give away. I did not intentionally give anything away. And if he wasn't paying attention, which he wasn't, you'd have never noticed. But if you were, even I can't hide it that well without putting forth actual effort. But you got to catch that squeaky wheel. My point here is, are you checking to make sure the client that is the most polite is happy? It's insane how often your happiest client is an unhappy client. Are you checking and are you measuring so that you can fix that before it gets there? Are you checking and are you measuring so that when he turns unhappy, you can make him happy? Because let me tell you something, my father is the client you want to love you to the day he dies. And if you have to throw some money at him, which I view as the greatest evil in all the world, I despise throwing money back. But if you have to, you do. Here's my problem with America today. The jerk, and y'all know I want to say a-hole, is how we've come to interpret this state. The guy who comes in and shakes his fist and raves and beats his chest and slams and writes the letter that's a lie to the Better Business Bureau, and I will destroy your reputation and I will go online. He scares us. We throw money at him. For some reason we think that's the squeaky wheel. That's not a squeaky wheel. That's a freaking broken axle. Broken axle you throw away and replace. Do you get my metaphor there? Seriously, quit throwing money at the jerk. You can't save them. They're a broken axle. Throw them away and replace them. It's not like they've never been a jerk in their life before. This person, the extreme that I'm talking about, makes their living that way. But I'm amazed at the number of businesses that their whole structure is set up, take advantage of the nice guy, feed all his extra resources to the jerk just to keep him quiet. You like to hope that the world out there, your clients, your potential clients, the online community, everything else, is mature enough to read a letter and understand. I use this example. I'm sitting around this morning reading a movie review with my wife. Love movies, love to go to the movies. We love to watch them together. Come to learn, you don't just look at how many stars out of 5 did it get. Read the review. A bad review often, if you pay attention, tells me the fact they didn't like it doesn't upset me. They're a good enough writer, I'm able to discern from it by paying attention. This is a fantastic movie for me. And anybody that thinks I'm nuts, when was the last time you saw the movies nominated for the Academy Awards? Tell me one that doesn't. Bleh. All right? Look at the top grossing movies of the year. What's that say? It says that the people that vote, who actually matters, you with your checkbook, make the choice. And yours are here, not the ones nominated. There's some in here not nominated. These down here that didn't make any money are nominated, and that's the whatever. Don't listen to critics. Pay attention. And again, this guy at his worst is a critic. Beware of this one actually getting irritated to the point they write such a note. That one's tough to overcome. And you'll never save them. Even if you say to them, you will not save them. So I hope my point stands. Measure and check. Have a close ear. Know where the grease goes. Do not be taken advantage of by the jerks that just sow fear. Stand up to them. I truly believe your clients will respect that and recognize it. And you'll be amazed how many of these guys actually, when they realize that pitching a fit and turning blue and slamming their feet on the ground, which has worked since they were 2, doesn't work with you. And all of a sudden they become a little more severe, but something here that you can actually work with. And instead of a broken axle, they become a replaced ball bearing. I know, the metaphor starts to fall apart. Okay, that's part 1. That went much longer than I wanted it to. But I want to go into part 2 of sales training today, and I'm going to make it very, very, very brief. It's Valentine's Day. Huzzah! It won't be by the time you see this, but it is the day I'm shooting this. Valentine's Day is wonderful. It is where we tell our loved ones how much we love them. Happy smiley faces all around. Yay! I love you. Hearts, 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 hearts. Fantastic. Here's a problem I have. Do you like you? And more importantly, do you love yourself? I would love to take time and go over the metaphysics, the psychological, the emotional, the spiritual side of the fact that if you do not love yourself, you can never truly and completely love someone else. There's enough of you that would argue with me, I absolutely love my children with all my heart. Oh, daddy, daddy, I love my daddy. My mama's sweet. I love, 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 but I hate myself. And there's certain truth there, but the reality is you don't healthily love that person until you love yourself. I'm going to challenge you this. You cannot be the most effective salesperson you can until you like yourself. And in all sincerity, until you love yourself. You can't take care of the squeaky wheel unless you love yourself. You can't not kowtow to the jerk unless you love yourself. You can't confidently sell what you're selling unless you love yourself. And if you love yourself, you can't get hurt by rejection. Oh man, I'm fantastic. I'm fabulous. Drives my wife crazy how highly I think of myself. Keep in mind, people, conceit is a very, very different thing. That is not what I'm talking about at all. You're fabulous. Recognize you're fabulous. And guess what? And here, I promise I keep this short. Quit focusing on what God didn't make you to be and love what He made you to be. He told you, He tells you repeatedly, you were made to be this. No one can be all. All right? You cannot be a giant. Read an article today, Roy Hibbert, great, fantastic center, Indianapolis. Yay, go team. 7'2". He was made to an incredible gift. Let me tell you something. Roy Hibbert could never wrestle in the 110-pound weight class. So wouldn't it be stupid of him to sit around his life being upset that he is not a nice, teeny, athletic, short dude that can wrestle in the 110-pound weight class? Shouldn't he instead relish and rejoice in being a 7'2" dominant center with athleticism? I'm amazed how many people don't like themselves enough, don't love themselves enough to rejoice in being greater than any 7'2" center that ever stepped on the court. And instead bemoan, yes, a metaphor, not being a 110-pound wrestler. God made you magically, purposefully. If you have a weakness, be smart enough to recognize it, but love yourself for it because it helps to make your strengths what they are. I was talking about a friend of mine the other day, and I said he's one of the most extreme teeter-totter people I've ever seen. His strengths are freaking ridiculous. They are, good gosh, powerful. But the counterbalance of his weaknesses are insane. You know how it works? You don't assign him the insane jobs. He is strong, he is dominant, he is confident, he can sell. I mean, he's the Mac Daddy. He doesn't have a creative bone in his body. Why would you give him a creative job? You don't. You give that to somebody else and you let him go rule his. Creative person doesn't have to go sell because they've got that back. Know your gifts, be thankful for them, be grateful for them, like whom what they are. Let that like build into love. And from that standpoint of love and confidence of self, you will love your clients more. You will love your family more honestly, more fully, and more completely. And on the beauty of the day of Valentine's, where we celebrate our interconnected relationships, the more you understand and love yourself, the greater your relationship will be with heaven, and the purer and better, deeper and richer and greater your relationship will be with your loved ones. That is my opinion. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day.